I remember playing the original title for the Super Nintendo when I was growing up. Okay, maybe not while I was growing up, since it did come out in 1994 and I was 19 at the time. But I thought Donkey Kong Country looked amazing back then, and it even stands up to the test of time. It does a fantastic job of making a full and color-filled world for us to explore. I was really excited to play the updated version of it, and I wasn't disappointed at all. There were quite a few changes, but I think they were all positive. In the original game, they only let you get hit one time when you were alone. If you had some help, you could withstand a second hit. This time around, instead of one-hit kills, your character will have hearts to keep you alive. And I have to say, I think this is a definite improvement over the original game. It made it much more fun to play, since you had a little more leeway with getting hit, and made the levels more fun to explore because of it. Now, don't get me wrong, the game is still very hard, but it's never so frustrating that you'll stop playing it. That's mainly because of Cheaty Kong. Excuse me, Super Kong. He will finish any level for you that you just can't handle. You see, when you start dying too much, the game just gets frustrated with your terrible game playing and gives you the option to have Super Kong do the level for you. It's the same option that you saw in New Super Mario Bros. Wii and Super Mario Galaxy 2. It's really for the younger players, so they can continue to keep playing even if they get stuck on a level. Although, to be honest, there was a couple levels where Super Kong helped me out, especially in the later levels. You play as Donkey Kong, who has to try and stop the evil hypno-villains who have hypnotized the other animals into becoming their accomplices in stealing all the bananas on the island. So Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong set off... Nice Nintendo plug there, Diddy. Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong set off on an adventure to try and stop them. Luckily, monkeys are too stupid to be hypnotized, so they don't need to worry about that. Seriously, I think that's the reason Donkey Kong and his family wasn't hypnotized. They were just too stupid. So that means every other animal on the island was smarter than them, and that's really sad. One of the strangest parts of this game is that the main enemies of the original series was not present, and that was the Kremlings. It just felt a little weird not to have them in the game. Oh, and you know what else? The bees are gone too. Not that I miss them too much, but these guys were just a staple of the Donkey Kong Country series. It was just weird that they weren't in the remake. Also, a lot of the animal friends that helped out Donkey Kong were not present in this one. The only one that I saw was the rhino and the bird. All of the maps have different ways to travel on them. You can buy a key at the local shop to unlock those levels. However, most of the time it's still the same amount of steps to get to the final boss of the world, so it'll basically come down to which pathway do you think is easier. The level designs were very clever. They would often incorporate the backgrounds into the action. In every level there was a new thing for you to explore. I love the different themes of each of the levels. They started off simple, a jungle or beach kind of theme, but then they became more complex and involving in the later levels. In each level there are collectibles, and you're going to want to collect them, not just because it's fun to do, but like for example, if you collect all the Kong letters in each level of the world, you will unlock a bonus temple for the world you just completed. This game can be played with 2 players, but I would advise against it. I think it was very difficult to play with 2 players, mainly because each player has their own way of playing, and often the 2 players will clash heads. Even when me and the second player were in agreement, the game didn't work that well in multiplayer, mainly because the very limited lives that you had to play with. Donkey Kong Country Returns is a great game. Its fun and replayable level designs showed that 2D platforming is still a fun genre to play. You will get about 8 to 10 hours of gameplay to enjoy, and of course you could double that number if you try and get all the extras in the game. So this game is definitely worth a buy.